These are 5 things that I regret that it took me to about the age of 61 to internalize and embrace. I'm gonna go through these by decade of my life, starting with 20, we'll end at 60. So let's start at age 20. And the biggest thing that I wish I had realized more is just the importance of having fun in that decade of your life. You're only young once. I talk a lot in my channel about the youth of your senior years, but you know what? There's something really magical about the youth of your youth. So, yes, it's nice to save money. It's nice to put money in a Roth IRA and let it grow for the next 45 years. But you know what? It's also nice to have those memories. There's only one period in your life when you can go backpacking through Europe, staying at hostels with your buddies, and that's probably in your 20s. There's a great book that talks about it. It's got a weird title, but I wish I had read this book when I was in my 20s. It's called Die with Zero. The other thing I'll say is this is typically, if you're gonna get married, this is the decade that many people do get married, and the decision of your spouse is one of the most important decisions you'll make in your life. I'm super grateful that I got married to the woman that I was fortunate enough to get married to, and my life would have been completely different had I gotten married to somebody else. Okay, the last one before we leave the 20s is, yes, it's important to, enjoy your 20s, but I'd also encourage you to come up with a financial plan in your 20s so you kinda see, how much do you need to be saving in order to be prepared in the future, but prioritize having fun over saving a little bit more. Okay, in your 30s, the big thing is just finding the right mountain to climb. I started my 30s on the wrong mountain. I ended my 30s on the right mountain, and I would say that's probably the most important thing to figure out, and give yourself permission to meander, particularly in your late 20s and early 30s, to try different experiences, to see, what is that mountain that you wanna climb, because it's really sad when if you were to get to 50 or 60 and realize, "Okay, I made it to the top, but by goodness, I'm on the wrong mountain." I don't wanna see that happen to you. And from an investing standpoint, I think your 30s is a great time to read the book, The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. I should point out that in the description to this video will be a link to my favorite books, Azul's favorite books. You can find all of these books on that list. I am an affiliate, so if you're interested in the books, please think about using that affiliate link. Okay, in your 40s, there's 3 things that really matter and will make a huge difference for the rest of your life. And they say, in real estate, the 3 most important factors are location, location, location. I think it's similar in your 40s. The 3 most important things are your health, your health, and your health. Up until our 40s, we look, our age, but once we hit 40, we start looking, our habits. And what are our daily habits? Are they setting us up to be healthy later in life? Are they setting or do we have the foundation? Do we have the practices in place? And it doesn't need to take a lot of time. But fortunately for me in my 40s is when I started to take health a lot more seriously. And I'm really glad I did because it's been very helpful for me. I'm relatively healthy in my early 60s. And I attribute a lot of that to the decisions I made in my early 40s. So think about how you're eating. Think about um, your habits for physical fitness as well as your mental fitness. Your 40s can be a time of very high stress. You're likely, if you own a house, you've got a mortgage payment that you're worried about. That puts a lot of strain in your life. You're also, if you have kids, starting to save money for their college savings. You're starting to take retirement a lot more seriously. There's a lot of pressure on your shoulders, and so taking care of your mental health and your physical health is really important. There's 3 books that I think are worthwhile, reading in your 40s. The first one is a book called Younger Next Year. The next one's a book called Outlive by Peter Attia. And the third book had a big impact by me. It's by Dr. Michael Greger, and he wrote a book, How Not to Die. It's got an unusual title, but basically it talks about the benefits of a whole food, plant-based diet or being vegan. I am vegan, and that was the book that convinced me to be vegan. And just like I said for 20-year-olds, and I should have said for 30-year-olds, if you don't have a financial plan, come up with one. Your 40s is a great time to have a financial plan. Most people wait until they're 50 or 60 to come up with a financial plan, but by then, there's a lot of opportunities that they've missed. For instance, in your 30s and 40s is a great time to be thinking about what are the buckets that you want your money in when you retire. Right now, there's a lot of talk about doing Roth conversions, which is converting a regular IRA into a Roth IRA. But I think it's even better to begin with the end in mind and thinking about where do you want this money. I would encourage you to think about three buckets to have your money in, three types of vehicles. The first one's just the taxable account, like at your local bank account or a taxable brokerage account. The second one is a regular IRA, a regular 401k, and the third one is a Roth version of an IRA in the Roth version of a 401k. And the reason for those three buckets is the US has 7 tax brackets. And when you're in retirement, it's really nice to be able to look at those 7 tax brackets, which are 10%, 12%. Then it jumps up to 22%. There is no 14, 16, 18, 20%. So it's 10%, 12%, 22%. So it's nice to have those different buckets so you can fill the relatively low federal tax rates at the 10 and 12% tax brackets. So having a financial plan is key. And the gold standard is to work with a financial advisor to do that. If that's not you, if you'd rather do it yourself, do yourself a huge favor. Don't use Google Sheets. Don't use Excel. Frankly, it's going to take dozens of hours, if not hundreds of hours, to develop a worthwhile plan. And it takes too much time and it's too easy to make a mistake. The software that I like, there's several providers for people like you and I, but the software that I like is called Bolden. It used to be called New Retirement. You can find a link to Bolden in my description. And if you want to try it out, please consider using the link because you'll be supporting the channel. I am an affiliate of Bolden. Okay, let's keep going. Now we're getting to 50. And after 50, the big thing, the theme is your next passion matters more than your next promotion. And what I mean by this is you're getting close to the point where you're going to be retired for 30 or 40 years and thinking about what that life looks like, what you're going to be excited to wake up and do every morning is really important. So, give your employer a solid 40, 45 hours a week, but many of us have been working 55, 60 or more hours a week. Think about giving yourself that extra 20 hours a week to focus on relationships, to focus on finding your next passion, to focus on the things that are going to put a skip in your step and have you excited about the next chapter of your life, which is going to be a heck of a lot longer than the 5 to 10 to 15 years you have remaining in your working life. The two books I recommend in your 50s, actually, it's just one book, and that is the book From Strength to Strength by Arthur Brooks. It'll talk about finding your next passion in life and how we evolve over life. It'll help you with that transition from being an individual contributor to being a mentor to eventually, being a retiree and having things that matter a lot to you outside of your career. And then in your 60s, the big thing I'd share is that unfortunately, at 60, most of us have less than 1,000 weeks of healthy active time remaining, and I wanna see you squeeze all the juice out of that time, which I call the youth of your senior years, which is why I made this video here. Why waiting till you're 65 to retire might be a big mistake. Thanks for watching. I also wanna credit Dave Ramsey, did a video like this, very different, but I got the idea for this video from a Dave Ramsey video, so thank you, Dave, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.